My dear fellow listeners and viewers, today I would like to share some of my opinion when it comes to volunteerism. The reason for that is because this is the week of volunteerism. So basically, here in Canada, we are acknowledging, the people them who have dedicated, their time and talent freely, voluntarily, without pay. I understand the importance of volunteerism because I've been doing it for a long, long time, just like many of you, by the way. And there are pros and cons to anything, and it is no different when it comes to lending a hand, volunteerism, to be very specific here. When we volunteer, we are gaining lots of new skills. There's no question about that. But also, we are we are contributing to an area where there is a need, because there's always a need for a helping hand, especially when it comes to grassroots organization, nonprofit organization. If they're small and they're just starting out and so on, there's always that need. Or even in your in the neighborhood you live, there's always a need, whether that be distributing food, whether that be visiting a senior and so on. So there's always a need for volunteer. But one of the reasons why people volunteer though is because, I mean, obviously a variety of different reasons, but people volunteer, because they want to give back. They are in a position where they have some extra time and they want to kind of utilize it accordingly. Some people volunteer because that is what keep them going, in a sense that they have an opportunity to connect with people, engage with people, exchange conversation and so forth. Some people learn because, like as I mentioned, new skills. If they're new to the country, they volunteer, and just so that they can add something to their resume, and things of that kind. I will caution you though, when it comes to volunteers, and believe what I'm saying to you here, because I love volunteering. I've done it, for several decades. I still do it every day in my life. I do volunteer at some capacity. I will caution you though, because some organization cannot function without, volunteers, and for me, that is an issue. Because when you think about it, if an organization is only depending on volunteers to function, it means that we need to kind of, it means that there's an opportunity for us to figure out why is it so, right? Because the intention is not necessarily a bad intention. I know many organizations. I mean, I have organization myself where we basically depend on volunteer to get it going. So I understand it. So I'm not really getting at a specific organization or a specific group or people here. But what I'm saying here is that if you have an organization and you really rely on people to do stuff, with any sort of pay continuously, it will eventually cause a lot of problem, because it takes a special kind of person to continuously lend their time, give their time to an organization there, or to somebody. People will do it once, they'll do it twice. There are a few where people though who will do it continuously. I do it continuously. When I do something, I'm not expecting pay, um, but it has to be, of course, for a good cause. It has to be something that will definitely make an impact, whether that be locally or globally and so forth, right? So there are a few people who will do that. But in this challenging time, people can only give so much, right? Generally speaking, as I mentioned earlier, people who have extra time, they have they have steady income coming in, and so they have lots of extra time, so they actually benefit from volunteering, because if not, they will feel very isolated. That's a whole different thing. But if you have an organization and you depend only on volunteer to run that organization, you really have to rethink this, because things have changed now. Think about what I'm saying here, and I understand things on both sides. So don't send me an email and say to me, well, Narayan, what are you talking about? But think about it. If you have an organization where it's only volunteer based run, that is an issue, because people will get burned out eventually. It gets very hectic to recruit your new volunteer, and a lot of people, if you have an organization, if you don't know how to recruit volunteers, that also creates lots of problems. You have to know all of these things. So if you are in our organization, you have to make sure that you take the appropriate courses and program and so on. It's not only having an idea and put together an organization and you start to do things. It doesn't work like that. There's a reason why volunteers come and go, because when somebody is volunteering, they need to feel valued, right? People have lots of skills, of course, and they want to give back. But if we are not managing the volunteer properly, that can be an issue here. So that's both. That's two things I'm trying to share with you here when it comes to this volunteerism piece. One, I want to acknowledge the fact that it is volunteer week here in Canada, and we want to acknowledge the fact that we appreciate volunteers and people who are lending their time and giving their talent freely and openly. So do know we appreciate all of that, no question about that. However, if you are an organization and if you rely only on volunteers, I'm saying it a few times here so that you get it, something is not right. And I have organization too where we rely on volunteers, but we are trying to change it a little bit because people need that motivation as well too. I might not be interested for anything. You, one or two people may not be interested, but generally speaking, we live in tough time. Things have changed. We have to find a way to kind of make sure that people are compensated in some little way. So something to think about, by the way. But like I said to you, there are a handful of people, just a handful, who wouldn't care. They will give, 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 and that's what they do best. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. My name is Narine Dat Sookram. Wishing you a great today and even a better tomorrow. I'll talk to you soon.